Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're tackling something that causes a lot of stress for international travelers: navigating the airport, especially when you're doing it in a language that isn't your first.
Oh, absolutely. The speed, all the specific terms they use, it can feel pretty overwhelming.
Right, and the stakes feel high. Communication feels like it could just break down.
Exactly. And that's why the resources we've looked at today are so useful. We've pulled together the core phrases from the 100 most important conversations at the airport.
Yeah, synthesize them, really.
Yeah, and it's not just a list. This is more like a strategic guide,
Yeah.
to feeling more confident with the language.
Our mission here is basically to cut through all the noise and give you the specific language you need step by step.
Right.
We're going chronologically through the whole airport journey. But maybe more importantly, we're looking at the kind of communication needed at each point.
Yes, that's a key insight from the sources. There are kind of three different modes you need to switch between. You've got being transactional and declarative, just exchanging info quickly.
Like at check-in.
Exactly.
Okay.
Then there's being compliant and responsive, basically. Following orders smoothly.
Security checks.
And finally, being factual and assertive. This is about stating your purpose clearly.
Immigration.
Precisely. We'll track these as we go. So let's kick things off with those first interactions at the check-in desk.
Okay, let's unpack check-in. This is, as you said, purely transactional mode. You're giving them documents, they're giving you a boarding pass. You give them luggage, they give you a claim tag.
Right. It's an exchange. And the opening line needs to be direct.
What do the sources suggest?
Something very clear like, "I'd like to check in for my flight to London," or "wherever you're going."
Okay, simple. Sets the stage.
And that immediately tells the agent what they need. So they'll ask, "May I see your passport and ticket, please?"
And when you hand them over, the research must have advice on that little moment.
Keep it simple and polite.
A straightforward, here you are, or here you go. That's it. Minimizes fuss.
Got it. Then comes the baggage part.
Yeah, the key question. Do you have any bags to check in?
What if you have, like, a couple of bags? Or you're worried about the weight? Does the material cover those wrinkles?
Oh yeah, absolutely. If you say yes to bags, the instruction is direct. Please place it on the scale.
Okay.
Now, if there is an issue, like weight, you need to listen for excess baggage.
Ah, the magic words nobody wants to hear.
Exactly. They might say, your bag is slightly over the weight limit. And that usually leads to talk of an excess baggage fee. Knowing that term is really important.
Right, because that suddenly makes the transaction more complex. You might need to discuss payment. What about seat requests? Like, if I really want a window seat, how do I ask without sounding pushy?
The sources advise a polite, direct question. Use that conditional, could I?
Okay.
So, could I request a window seat, please? It shows you're asking, not demanding.
Nice. And once all that's done, the agent gives you the critical info. Your gate number is B12, and boarding starts at 10.15. You really need to listen carefully for those numbers. Gate and time. That's your takeaway.
All right, so check-in is done. Transaction complete. Now, we shift gears pretty dramatically for security, don't we?
They should.
From exchanging things politely to, well, proving you'll follow orders. We're into that compliant, responsive mode now.
Precisely. This stage is all about following clear instructions. No negotiation, no real chat.
Just do what they say.
Exactly. The language is usually commands. Please place your bag on the conveyor belt, or please step through the scanner.
The sources mentioned asking proactively about shoes, right? Should I take off my shoes? Does that help?
It can save a bit of time, shows you another drill. But it's not the only thing.
What else?
Electronics. Be ready for that one. The officer will almost certainly tell you to remove your laptop from your bag. Very standard instruction.
Okay. Laptop's out. What about liquids?
They might ask, do you have any liquids or gels over 100 milliliters?
And the answer?
Just a simple, compliant, no, I do not, if that's true. Or, yes, they're in this clear bag. Again, direct, factual.
What if, the metal detector goes off? That's always a bit tense.
It is, yeah. If the alarm sounds, their language changes slightly. You'll hear things like, please step aside.
Okay.
Or maybe, we need to conduct a secondary check.
And my response should be?
Still just simple compliance.
Yeah.
Okay, or understood. Resist the urge to explain why you think it beeped. They don't need the story right then.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So at security, it's almost like being a robot. You just process the instructions.
Kind of, yeah. You confirm, you comply, minimal words.
And when you're finally through...
The all clear is usually brief.
Yeah.
You may collect your belongings.
And the best responses throughout this whole security part are just...
We make short confirmations. Sure. Okay. No problem. Keep it moving.
All right, now we hit arguably the most critical language point, passport control or immigration.
Definitely high stakes here.
And the communication style shifts again, right? This is where we need to be factual and assertive. It's not just following orders, it's about clearly stating your intentions.
Exactly. This is where ambiguity is your enemy. The source materials really zero in on 3 core questions every traveler needs to be prepped for.
3 main ones.
Yes. And the key, according to the research, is short, polite, factual answers.
Why short? I always feel like I should explain more, seem open and honest.
That's a common feeling, but it's a linguistic trap here. The experts warn against it.
How so?
Longer answers mean more complex sentences, more clauses, which can actually create confusion or give the officer details they didn't even ask for. The advice is to stick to the basics: subject, verb, object. Keep it tight. So instead of, well, the main reason I've come is because my friends invited me over and we're planning to see the sights.
You're just vacation.
Or visiting friends. Clear, direct answers the question.
Okay, that makes sense. So let's nail down these 3 essential questions. First one is about why you're there.
Yes, purpose. What is the purpose of your visit? You need your category ready: business, vacation, study, visiting family.
And the ideal answer structure.
Simple and declarative, like we said. I'm here on vacation, or I'm attending a conference. If they ask a follow-up, like, who are you visiting? Keep that structure to, I am visiting my sister.
Got it. Question 2 deals with time, right? And people can get tripped up here.
Very common mistake highlighted in the sources. They confuse how long they're staying with their return flight date. The question is, how long will you stay? Answering with a specific duration, like 2 weeks or 10 days, is often clearer and sounds more precise than saying until the 25th.
Precision signals you know your plans.
Exactly. It confirms you have a clear itinerary and understand the visa rules implicitly.
And the third key question, it's about where you'll be.
Right. Proving you have accommodation, a place to be. Where will you be staying?
And the answer strategy.
Again, specific but brief. You don't need to list every single place if you're touring. Just the first main one, at the Grand Hotel in central London, or with my family in Manchester.
So looking at the big picture for immigration, the goal is really to make the officer's job straightforward.
Absolutely.
Short, accurate answers mean fewer follow-up questions, less chance for misunderstanding.
Precisely. You're confirming you're a legitimate visitor with clear legal intentions. The sources stress politeness, of course, but factual clarity is paramount here. Don't be chatty, be precise.
Okay, once you're through the immigration hurdle, things shift back a bit, don't they? More towards transactional for boarding, maybe finding your seat.
Yeah, it gets a little less intense.
Yeah.
The gate agent interaction is that last official check.
Documents again.
Right. They'll ask for Penny's boarding pass and maybe passport one last time. Stick to that simple phrase when handing them over. Here you go.
The tricky part here can sometimes be the directions, right? Gate changes, zone numbers.
Yes. Listen carefully for numbers and directions. The agent will say something like, you are in seat 14A, group 3, or please board through the left.
What about disruptions, like a gate change? That always causes chaos.
Yeah, stressful. You need to listen for phrases like, the flight to London has been changed to gate D45. Being ready for that kind of disruption vocabulary is just as important as the routine stuff.
Good point. Okay, so now you're finally on the plane. Phew.
Almost there.
Even here, interacting with the flight crew requires that blend of politeness and clarity. It's sort of compliant responsive again, but mixed with polite requests, so a bit transactional too.
Good way to put it. A flight attendant might offer help proactively. Can I help you find your seat?
Or if you're struggling with your bag.
They'll likely direct you. The overhead bins are above you. Simple, clear guidance.
And for making requests yourself a blanket, a drink, the sources really emphasize politeness, specifically using conditional phrasing.
Absolutely. No demands. Always frame it as a polite request using could I have or may I have, and always add please.
So, could I have a blanket, please?
Perfect. Or, may I have some water, please? It sets a respectful tone.
And finish with
a clear thank you every time. Basic courtesy goes a long way.
Okay, last hurdle. Arrival. Baggage claim, then customs. There's one final really important question there.
Yes, the customs declaration. This brings us back briefly to that factual assertive mode. The officer asks, do you have anything to declare?
And declare here means something specific, legally.
Very specific. Means, are you bringing in goods over the allowed limits, usually large amounts of cash, or maybe more alcohol or tobacco than the duty-free allowance permits.
What about things people worry about, like prescription medicine, or maybe gifts you bought?
That's a common point of confusion. The sources clarify personal medication in reasonable amounts and ideally labeled generally doesn't need declaring.
Okay.
Gifts might need declaring, but only if their total value goes over the limit set by that country. If you're unsure about an item, the safest bet is just to ask the officer directly, does this need to be declared?
But for the average traveler, just bringing back souvenirs and personal stuff.
Assuming you're within the limits, the standard required answer is simple and clear. No, nothing to declare.
And that's it, journey complete.
Linguistically, yes.
Yeah.
That's the final checkpoint. Hashtag tag outro.
Wow. Okay, so that maps out the entire airport experience through language, doesn't it?
Yeah, and focusing not just on what to say, but how to say it, those different modes.
Right, the transactional for check-in and boarding, the compliant for security, and that factual assertion for immigration and customs across all 6 key stages.
And the synthesis from all the sources seems really clear. Success comes down to simple, specific language.
And politeness. Can't forget that.
Never. But knowing which style to use, when to just state facts, when to just follow orders, when to make a polite request that feels like the real key to confidence.
Yeah, that distinction really reframes it. It's not just about memorizing phrases, it's about linguistic strategy. But, hearing this once is helpful, but it's not the same as actually mastering it for when you're under pressure. Did the sources offer tips on making this stick?
They did, yeah. Active learning is the key. The experts strongly recommend a specific practice method for these kinds of high-stakes phrases.
Okay, what's the homework for our listeners?
It's about intense repetition. The advice is, listen to these key dialogues, again, maybe the ones we highlighted, and actually repeat each important phrase out loud 3 times.
Out loud, not just in your head.
Exactly, out loud, to get the rhythm, the clarity, to really internalize it so it comes out naturally when you need it.
That makes sense. Apply that, and hopefully the next trip through an airport will feel significantly less stressful and way more fluent.
That's the goal.
Well, thank you for guiding us through this deep dive. It's been incredibly practical.